Hello everybody, my name's Andrew Halley and welcome to the annual report from the Australian panel of C4. Just as a quick recap on the scope of Study Committee C4, there are 5 key areas that we focus on. The first is power quality, then electromagnetic compatibility and interference, insulation coordination, lighting, and power system dynamics and numerical analysis. Power system dynamics covers the full spectrum of issues as shown there on the graphic, lasting from or having a time frame from parts of seconds right through to hundreds of seconds and hours. In terms of activities that are underway within Study Committee C4, we've got a relatively large number of working groups in progress. Working groups essentially the engine room of SIGRE. It is where the bulk of the technical analysis and reporting gets done. We have 32 active working groups in progress, which is quite a lot. You can see the breakdown there on the right-hand side. It's interesting to note that still 1/3 of the working groups are associated with power system dynamics and numerical analysis, and this largely links back to the fact that there's still a lot of challenges and issues around modelling and undertaking power system analysis with variable generation, particularly solar and wind. The new technologies that have very much made their presence felt in the power system. So we're still working out how best to treat them, and I think the number of working groups underway in that space really reflects those challenges. In terms of relevance for Australia, there's quite a number that are directly relevant to the issues that we're seeing in the national electricity market and the Australian industry more generally. It's interesting to note there that C456, electromagnetic transient simulation models for large-scale system impact studies, has actually been convened from Australia. That's being convened by Babak Badzada from AEMO. We've also got a number of representatives representing Australia on other working groups as well. The full listing of those participating can be found in the detailed written report for C4. In terms of publications, since the last ATC Seminar, which was held in November of last year, there have been 3 technical brochures published by Study Committee C4, and they're shown there on the slide. There's another 6 that we're expecting to publish very soon. One is actually under review by the Study Committee at present. That's Joint Working Group C4B541, Challenges with Series Compensation Applications. And there's a further 5 which are pending submission for review, so they shouldn't be far away either. Again, just to reiterate, as previously mentioned, that the annual report will provide a full summary of not only the publications but also the Australian contributors to those working groups. So please have a look at the report. So in addition to the technical brochures, there's been also a number of publications within the SIGRE Science and Engineering Journal, as well as Electra, that have been published by C4 members. I'll point you towards volumes 15, 17 and 18 for some excellent examples, including a number of articles from Australia. Again, a number of these have come from the Australian Energy Market Operator and document some of the challenges that are starting to be seen across the NEM with the increasing penetration of rooftop solar, wind and large-scale solar. There's a number of Electra reference papers that have also been published in the last 12 months. 2 of particular note are power quality trends in the transition to carbon-free electrical energy systems. This was in CSE volume 17. And another one that was very interesting from my perspective was the need for enhanced power system modelling techniques and simulation tools, which was also published in CSE volume 17. So If you're not a regular reader of this material, I'd strongly recommend that you take the time and just have a peruse, because the quality of the information and the articles that are being published really are excellent, and they do capture a lot of the learnings that are coming out of the Australian environment. So in addition to the written material, which is always popular, Study Committee C4 have really embraced the concept of webinars. And we've had another 2 in the last 12 months, and there's certainly plenty more to come, so stay tuned on this front. The 2 that have been presented in the recent times have been understanding of the geomagnetic storm environment for high voltage power grids. So this was working group C432. And the second was from Study Committee C4B438, and this was titled Network Modelling for Harmonic Studies. It was delivered on the 25th of June, and many of you would realise that it was actually after a lot of the COVID restrictions had started to kick in, and that particular webinar ended up with 245 attendees, which must be some sort of a record for a SIGRE record webinar, and I think it really was an indication of just how many people were looking for a little bit of interaction with the outside world and access to technical material during that time. So well done to Marta and Genevieve for running what was an excellent webinar with a large number of people involved. The other contribution that C4 has made and is now complete is to the Green Book titled Network of the Future. That Green Book has finally been published after what felt like an eternity, but it's out, and it's worth recognising that there was quite a reasonable Australian contribution to the C4 chapter, coming from Sarath Pereira, Vic Gospel, and myself. So as everyone will be aware, we didn't get to go to Paris this year, but it wasn't all lost. The e-session was run quite successfully. Part of that e-session was our Study Committee C4 workshop, which was delivered via webinar on Monday the 24th of August, and that was titled System Strength, a story about not enough shepherds and too many sheep, which was coordinated by myself and Babak from Australia. The scope of the workshop was broad. We covered a lot of material in the 4-hour session. We ended up with approximately 110 people attending via webinar, which was down on expectations, but was still quite positive. We understand that quite a lot of the material has been downloaded. It was all pre-recorded, so it can be downloaded by registered attendees and viewed. And we're still waiting to receive feedback from the survey results, but all indications were that it was well received and delivered some very useful information. In terms of the Paris session, in terms of papers delivered during the Paris session, there was 6 from the Australian panel of C4, and they're listed there. I'd take this opportunity to thank those authors and also for their presentations during the actual session, because the timeframes weren't in our favour, and there was some pretty late nights and early mornings to be involved with some of those presentations. So thank you to everyone that participated, and you did us proud. Last activity I'd like to mention is our System Strength Seminar that was run on the 6th of November, again delivered via webinar. This was a follow-on to the Paris session, but was actually altered a little bit to make it even more relevant to the Australian environment. So we had an expanded speaker list, which drew on quite a bit more Australian expertise and a lot more local examples. There was 28 speakers in total, representing AEMO, the network operators, consultants, academics, equipment suppliers. It was quite a significant effort to coordinate, and I take this opportunity to thank both AEMO and in particular Babak Badzada from AEMO for organising the event and bringing it all together. Babak and his team did an excellent job in coordinating all of those speakers, and it was quite a solid session. There was a lot of material covered, and very pleasingly, we had over 700 attendees. There was some 1,100 attendees actually registered, but on the day 700 joined in, and the vast majority of those stayed online for the entire session. So that was quite a fantastic outcome. So well done to all involved. So thanks for listening. That's it from me, out of time. If you'd like more details, please refer to the written report, which will be available as part of the AGM documentation package. And as I've indicated there, hopefully next year we can get back on those big birds and go and catch up with our SIGRO colleagues overseas and get back into our normal activities. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk again soon.